This is a review for your quiz tomorrow on quadratics. Given a rectangle that has a perimeter of 200 centimeters and a side length of L centimeters. Draw a rectangle to represent this situation. Label each side in terms of the rectangle in terms of L. So we're just using L, not W for width. So I drew a rectangle and I need to think, well, twice the length plus twice the width is 200 because that's how you find perimeter. So that means one length plus one width is 100. So if I label one of the sides L, then the other side would be 100 minus L, because that's how in the equation you would get the width, is if you subtracted L from both sides, you would end up with 100 minus L. That's all you would have to do to answer that question. Next, same information. This time we need to write an equation of the area of the rectangle in terms of the length. Well, we know that area is length times width, but since our width is 100 minus L, all we have to do is substitute that into our equation for W, and we get area equals length times 100 minus L. Notice the parentheses around the 100 minus L, and that would be your equation. You don't have to simplify. You do not have to use the distributive property. You can just leave it as is. Next, same perimeter, same type of rectangle. Now we need to make a table showing how the areas change. I went by multiples of 10 since 200 is so large. I knew that the length and the width had to add up to 100, as in the previous one, so I did 10 and 90, 20 and 80, 30 and 70, 40 and 60, 50 and 50, and so on. And then I just multiplied them together to get the area. I find it helpful to include the width so that I can find the area easily by just multiplying the length times the width to get the area. Same part of the question. Now I just need to sketch a graph. You should know that this type of graph would be a parabola. If you remember the chart, the highest point was 250. It is a rough sketch. I went up to 100 because at 100 was the maximum length. Here's my area, and then my maximum area was 2500, so I labeled that. So remember, it can be a sketch. It does not have to be perfect. So you don't have to count every little thing. You do need to label the 2500 and the 100, and then the area and the length. Same question. Estimate the greatest possible area for the rectangle with this perimeter. What are the dimensions of the rectangle with this maximum area? Remember, rectangles with a maximum area are better known as squares. So 100 squared centimeters is the maximum area with dimensions 10 by 10 because they had to add up to 100. All right. I'm giving you a graph this time, and you have to complete the make a table of this graph. So here's the graph. Just has a little smiley faces for the points. It's not quite complete. I just made a table: 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 4, 3, 9, and 4, 4. That's it. You just gotta look at the dots, find the x and y values. Now, what appeared to be the maximum y value, and explain. I gave you the chart again so you could look at it. Notice the highest point seems to be, and x is 3, y is 9. So the maximum y value appears to be 9 because the graph increases until this number and then decreases from this number on. Notice my complete sentence. Then they want you to finish the table and graph by adding points to fit this relationship. Notice it says explain your reasoning. So there's my table. I just carried it on. 5 was 1, 6 was 0, mimicking the 0 and the 1 up here. And then I drew my parabola. You would just continue down from 9 the way you increase from 9. The graph would also continue down the way it went up. What is the value of y when x is 5? I looked at the table and the graph. Here's the table. Input 5, output 1. Input 5, well, I didn't finish this one, but the input would be 1. Okay, finally, what is the value of x when y is 0? Explain. When y is 0, x can be 0, 6. It will have two values because of the shape of our graph is a parabola. See here at 0, 0, and then if I continued it on, it would be here at 0, 6. Or 6, 0, I'm sorry. This will be on your quiz tomorrow. I will have it on class pages for you or end grade to view as well. Good luck.